It is the beginning of February in the year 313 AD, and we are in one of the most important centers of the Roman Empire, the city of Mediolanum, today's Milan. It is here that two Roman rulers, Licinius and Constantine, are meeting. The first governs the provinces in the eastern part of the empire, while the second has recently won a civil war that made him the master of the western half of the empire. If you had asked them at the time, both men would probably have said that the most important outcome of their negotiations was their alliance further sealed by Licinius's marriage to Constantine's half-sister. This pact prevented, at least for the time being, further bloody conflicts. From the distance of 1,700 years, however, the main outcome of this meeting appears entirely different. Licinius and Constantine agreed on what is today, not entirely accurately, called the Edict of Milan. Simply put, it was an agreement establishing religious tolerance. From now on, every citizen of the empire could freely choose their faith, which was especially significant for the increasingly numerous Christian community. Only a year earlier, Christians had been harshly persecuted and suppressed. The agreement reached in Milan would prove crucial. It created the conditions that allowed Christianity to become, just a decade later, the official religion of the Roman Empire, something that would fundamentally reshape the entire course of European history. For Constantine himself, it was another step on his long journey toward eventually receiving baptism on his deathbed and thus becoming the first Christian emperor in the history of the Roman Empire. Constantine was the son of Constantius Chlorus, a man whose military career brought him to the highest positions, and his mother was Helena, a woman of humble origin from what is now Turkey, who probably never became Constantius's lawful wife. Although he left her to strengthen his political position through another marriage, Helena retained a powerful influence over her son, later becoming a key figure at his court and playing an important role in his acceptance of Christianity. Today, she is known throughout the world as Saint Helena. Constantine was born around the year 272 inches, today's Niš in Serbia, during the turbulent period known as the Crisis of the 3rd Century. When multiple emperors often ruled at once, the borders were continually threatened by barbarian incursions, and economic decline was spreading throughout the empire. In 285, when Constantine was just over 10 years old, Diocletian became emperor and launched sweeping reforms, establishing the Tetrarchy, the rule of 4, with 2 Augusti and 2 Caesars dividing control of the empire. Constantine's father first became a Caesar and later an Augustus in the western half of the empire. Constantine himself grew up at Diocletian's court in Nicomedia, where he received an education but at the same time served, in effect, as a political hostage due to the mutual mistrust among the rulers. During this period, he accompanied Diocletian on campaigns in Mesopotamia, Syria, and against the Persians, gaining valuable military experience. Around 303, during the harshest persecution of Christians in Roman history, churches and sacred writings were burned. Christians were stripped of their rights, arrested, tortured, and executed. Although Constantine took no known part in these persecutions, there is likewise no evidence that he openly defended the Christians. 2 years later, Constantine managed to leave the court and joined his father on campaign in Britain. In 306, his father died in today's York, and the army proclaimed Constantine emperor. But his claim faced the rival ambitions of other powerful leaders, and the following 6 years were filled with battles, negotiations, and intrigue. After Diocletian's death in 311 near Split, the eastern part of the empire came under the control of Licinius, while in the west, a decisive confrontation loomed between Constantine and Maxentius. The turning point came at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge, on the northern outskirts of Rome. According to tradition, Constantine, then still a follower of traditional Roman polytheism, experienced a vision of the Chi symbol in the sky and heard the words, "In this sign you shall conquer." He ordered his soldiers to paint the symbol on their shields, and in the ensuing battle his army crushed Maxentius, who drowned in the Tiber. Constantine now emerged as the undisputed, and for most people, also welcome ruler of the western half of the empire. The events surrounding the battle had a profound effect on him, and only a few months later, the Edict of Milan transformed the status of Christians. They were no longer persecuted, and even began to receive support from the highest circles of power. New churches were built, including the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem and the Lateran Basilica in Rome, which remain among the holiest Christian sites to this day. The strongest protector of the Christians was Constantine's mother Helena, who, despite her advanced age, traveled to Jerusalem and, according to Christian tradition, discovered the true cross, on which Christ had died. The fragile peace between Constantine and Licinius did not last long. They clashed again only 2 years after their Milan meeting. Although a new arrangement was agreed upon, Licinius later renewed persecutions of Christians in 320, violating the Milan agreement and triggering another war. This time, Constantine fought the conflict to its final conclusion. Although he initially spared Licinius at his sister's request, he later accused him of conspiracy and had him executed. Constantine thus became the sole ruler of the entire Roman Empire. His reign was marked by military success, stabilization of the borders, and extensive social, economic, and financial reforms. He also founded a new city at the Bosporus, Constantinople, today's Istanbul, which would become the richest city of the Middle Ages and the heart of the Eastern Roman, later Byzantine, Empire for more than 1,000 years until its fall in 1453. Constantine significantly elevated the status of Christianity and had his children, the future rulers of Rome, raised in the new faith, which proved decisive for the future of the empire. Yet he himself hesitated to receive baptism for most of his life. He planned to be baptized in the River Jordan during his campaign against Persia, but illness forced the expedition to be postponed. Aware that his end was near, he received baptism in Nicomedia from the local bishop. Shortly afterward, on May 22, 337, at about the age of 65, the great emperor breathed his last.